Now, after handling the BlazBlue cast, the Persona 4 Arena cast, and the Under Night In-Birth cast, I finally reached my top 5 characters I would have wanted to see in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle from the RWBY series. Now, there's a couple of things I want to say before I even start this video. One, I can understand why we don't have more RWBY characters now, because sprite working is a pain in the ass. Sprite working is hard work, guys. Two, I haven't seen RWBY past Volume 6. So I honestly can't speak up if case some of these characters maybe come back or their backstories or whatever. I mean, there's some characters I do know about things that happened to them post Volume 6, especially in the case of a specific character I'm going to talk about later, but at the same time, like, no, there's no point of, really talking about it. And 3, I am only going to choose characters that were even in the callouts for BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. So I can't choose characters like Crow or Winter or Raven, which makes me sad because I actually like Raven's design. I wish I kind of would have put her here if that was the case. But other than that, yeah, those are my main rules for this whole thing. And it still gives me a lot more freedom than I have with the other characters, because at least with the remaining RWBY characters left I get to talk about, I actually want them in the game, with the exception of maybe one, but that's a different story. But anyway, I get to finally talk about RWBY for once, which I never ever get to do on my channel. And so now I get to talk about my top 5 missing RWBY characters that I would have wanted in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. Without further ado, let's do this thing. Just because she is so goddamn crazy, Nora became one of my favorite characters in an instant. Just something about her that I just would have really wanted to see in Cross Tag Battle for the sheer idea of her interactions alone. I feel like she could have some really good ones between some of the characters on the roster. I feel like out of all the characters on this whole video, I would want Nora the most just because of the way she acts. Now, I don't know what else I could have done with her, honestly. Like, I imagine her gameplay, I know she could be like maybe the slow, heavy character. There's also a lightning factor. If I remember correctly, she needs to be struck by lightning in order to use her powers or something like that. It's been a while. Trust me, I swear to God, guys, even though I finished RWBY up to Volume 6, I just forgot the series. I remember just bits and pieces, but I remember liking Nora. The thing about Nora is that, like, she's part of a team. And somebody choosing these characters that are part of teams were things that I was really wrestling with when I was talking about RWBY the first time. I thought about, okay, well, why, like, if one of these characters get in from their team, then the other characters would come in. Like, oh, if Nora gets in, then Ren has to get in, then John has to get in, then Pira has to get in. Oh, if I chose someone randomly, I would have to do that. But there's no big issue there. I wasn't even gonna make a big deal out of that now, especially in the case of this video, since Cross Tag Battle isn't really at the moment getting any more developer support. So if there was one character I could choose first, like if someone introduced me like a list of RWBY characters I'd choose first out of the ones that were already in the Cross Tag Battle line callouts, Nora would be one of them. I just like her personality. I like her outfit, and I definitely believe she would have some damn good interactions. I feel like that, just her interacting with the other characters alone in a comical way would be perfect. Plus, if Tao ever got in this game, I could just feel they would have a really great interaction. Just feel it. I don't know what it could be, but I can feel it. Welcome to BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle, where we live in a timeline where RWBY only goes up to volumes 1 to 3, but we can have Pira here. And I like Pira. She's one of my favorite characters. Like, I actually just generally like Pira. Like, I feel so sad still to this day. Like, RWBY's actually hit me sad with that, Pira's death. So now she could be alive in this game. I could definitely, I just want to see it, like it just be she has a very endearing personality, She has a very endearing personality. I actually like her voice. She's a nice character overall. And damn it, dude, they actually made you give a shit about the character before offering her, which is great. You don't get that. Some of these shows, you don't get me to give a shit about characters, before they, off themselves. Like, I mean, that happens all the time, but like, I'm not trying to rag on RWBY, but this is RWBY we're talking about here. So, yeah, I would definitely want to see Pira here. I feel like out of all the characters, Pira will be my very first option. Like, I told myself, yeah, Nora would be a character I pick first, but I think Pira is the real choice here, Like, I like the idea of her being here, because like, I can actually see her in interactions being, like, super nice with other characters. Like, I can see her having an interaction with you, Nora Kami. I don't know why. Just in the back of my head, I was thinking about making this video last night, and I thought about, she would have a great interaction with you. Like, I don't know, something about that. She got a great interaction with Tsubaki. Hell, they gave me a comment that they look kind of similar. Well, Tsubaki, Kaizouwar in this case. But, I don't know, man. Just something about Pira being here would just fit so well. Like, I wouldn't even give a shit if the rest of Team Juniper came in. I wouldn't have gave a shit. If Nora and Pira out of that team would have just made it in the cross tag battle, I wouldn't have cared. Honestly, that's like the only two I even want from that team into this game. I'm not really much of a fan of Ren and John. I don't hate the guy, but like, I mean, I feel like he'd be very bland putting a cross tag battle. I feel like he'd just be like not interesting. Like to me, Ren and John aren't interesting characters. But I feel like Pira and Nora are. Like, they at least keep my attention, at least. I won't lie to you. I actually don't like Cinder at all. I legitimately don't even like Cinder. Like, remotely outside of her design, and that's just her volume. When did she change that? Volume 4, and that's not gonna make it in the cross tag because, I mean, like the only reason I even like Cinder is because of design. I don't like her personality. I now know her backstory, and I didn't like that either. And I don't know, man. I just chose Cinder because like we needed a villain, so I just chose one villain to start off with. So I was like, okay, well, who else could be? Cinder's already around callouts. I guess I'll choose Cinder because of her design. That's like legit the only reason. Well, she does have Sacrifice as her theme song, so I guess that's another reason why I chose her. And her powers are immediately cool. I mean, fire is awesome. Arrows are awesome. Fire arrows are awesome. So yeah, that's the only reason I even chose Cinder, honestly. I won't lie to you. I know Cinder has her fans out there. I'm not gonna rag on people for that. But I honestly find her pretty boring. Like as a villain, she's pretty boring to me. And not knowing what her backstory is for the longest time was like a pain. And then when I finally learned, I was like, well, this is dumb. Like there's some things that are off. This is not gonna be a whole video about Cinder because honestly, I can't really speak up for her because I've only known her up to volume 6. So I don't know what she did in between volumes to even lead up to her backstory or whatnot. I don't know if she got better. I don't know if she got worse. I don't know what she did. But yeah, the only reason I even chose Cinder because maybe more themes could come along. Sacrifice is a good song, so I can't like. I mean, All Things Must Die could consider to be maybe Raven and Cinder's theme. I'll count it as her versus theme or whatever. But if All Things Must Die and Sacrifice made it into this game, that would be great because we definitely need more RWBY music in this game. And Cinder at least looks cool. She doesn't have to talk for me to, watch, play her in the game. I could just not give a shit and just play her. I feel as though she'll play cool though. But yeah, as regards to her personality, I could give zero shits. But I feel like her gameplay and the music choices that bring along with her design would be interesting. I liked Sun. I honestly did. Like, he was actually an interesting character when he was first introduced and when I saw him in RWBY. And I thought about, yeah, I would like to see this guy in cross tag battle. Hell, the only reason I even knew the guy all that much, besides being in RWBY, is because his voice, Michael, was actually on a show called Rage Quit that my brother used to watch to death back in the day. He didn't watch a lot of Rooster Teeth, but he did watch a lot of Michael raging at like these games and stuff like that. And then when I heard his voice as Sun, I was like, oh wow, no freaking way, dude. No freaking way. So yeah, Sun would be great. I do see him interacting in a lot more cheerful way to some of the characters on there. I haven't been giving best examples because honestly I have shit examples, but I do see him trying to at least get along with, obviously, him having an interaction with Blake. I at least see that. I can at least see him try to have an interaction with maybe Yang. I might be pushing because they never really talk to each other in the series, but I definitely would like to see that. I honestly don't know what else, because I'm not very good at this. The only reason I even made these type of videos was to talk about if characters like this will get in the cross tag, would I like it or not? And I feel like Sun would be a good option. Like, I do like his nunchuck style. Like when he fought Torch for that first time, I knew immediately that I was like, you know what, he needs to be in a game, because that looks sick as shit. And I thought about it more, and I was like, man, this dude needs to be in a game. He really needs to. Like, in cross tag would be it. I wonder how they're gonna work him out in cross tag, with nunchuck / gun combo. I wonder how they're going to work well, at least how they would work it out. But in regards of wanting Sun in just for that sole reason, yeah, Sun doesn't really have a theme song, per se. Like, he has a song where he shares with Blake, I think, Not Fall in Love With You, and there's also that Morning After Night, or whatever that song was called, but that's already part of Blake's theme in cross tag, so I can't really count that. Don't know if they're actually going to separate the song off so it can play by itself, because they did the same thing with Red Like Roses. Red Like Roses segment is also in RWBY's theme, and it's also a separate song, but then again, that was the very first song to represent RWBY back in the day, so back when cross tag was in its early alpha stages, so I can't really say much. But yeah, if Sun got in with Not Fall in Love With You, I would like that song. It wouldn't be a battle theme, but like, it'd be at least a funny song to fight against. So I didn't want this segment to be mega long, and I've already mentioned at the beginning of the video that the only reason I chose certain characters was because their names were already called onto the voice call announcement stuff. So I decided to make this little placeholder kinda, why I didn't choose these certain characters, right? And I didn't want to make this part super long because I didn't want this video to go longer than it did. So there's characters like Emerald, which I don't really care for enough to actually bother to put on this list. Honestly, forget she exists half the time. Mercury wasn't even on the list, so I can't really mention him. I know they kind of keep those two as a duo, Emerald and Mercury, but Mercury wasn't even on the call-out round thing, which is funny to me. I didn't choose Torchwick because I felt as though, like, the only reason I kept Torchwick off is because when I started to choose between him and Adam, I just chose Adam because I liked his fighting style a lot better than Torchwick's. So I just left that out. I mean, I would have kept Torchwick in, but like, I feel like Adam, the way he will play would be more interesting to me than Torchwick would. I left characters like Ren and John off because I personally don't care for them. I don't know how John would have played, and I feel like they would have just been kind of dull for him being there. And I don't really care for Ren at all. See, I forget he exists half the time. I apologize. So I left him off. And I think that's, in regards of all the characters, that's everyone else that I left off. I didn't want to use no visual representation for this one because I wanted this part to be out of the way as soon as possible, because I didn't want anybody to ask me, well, why didn't you choose this character? Why didn't you choose that character? Why didn't you choose this character? Why didn't you choose it? I know it would at least left some of the teams incomplete, because if I left John and Ren off, that would have left Team Juniper incomplete, so that would only leave, Nora and Pira in the game of cross tag. But considering that we've had a bunch of other disjointed stuff in cross tag where some characters that should be in aren't in, I feel like I make an exception in this case. So I'm going to be real with you now. The only reason I even chose Adam is the same reason I chose Cinder. He has a cool design. He looks sick as shit. I'm not a fan of what they did with him as regards of a character post Volume 3. But he looks cool at least. Adam looks sick as shit, and his fighting style looks epic. That's all I can say. He's like all style and no substance, if I could say that. And that sounds harsh. When people usually say that, it's really harsh, but that's what Adam is to me. I don't care at all for his character. Like, if someone could just, like, port over his... Like, if he could be a silent character like Neo or Blitztank, and then port only his design and moves over, I would like that. Like, but yeah, he looks sick as shit. Adam honestly looks sick as shit. I do like the way he looks, at least, and the way he fights. And I feel like that'd be great for cross tag battle, especially putting him into a character, like a playable character form. Honestly, I don't know what they could do with him in regards of interactions, because I just don't care for his character all that much, but I feel like they could at least be something interesting. I don't want him to have really boring interactions where, like, there's nothing. Like, the thing about these interactions in cross tag is they have to be fun. Even with the more serious characters, there can be some fun happening with it. Like Jin, like for example, Jin is all serious in all his interactions with the exception of Ragna's, right? And the way it balances out is that he's a piece of shit, and that the people around him have to deal with that shitty attitude, right? It kind of balances itself out, even if some people don't like the idea. But with Adam, I just don't know. Like, Adam as a character is painfully boring to me, at least post Volume 3. Like, I didn't like what they did with him after the fact, and this is not going to be a whole video to talk about Adam, but I just want to say that, yeah, I would want him in the game, but they're going to have to do some character changes for him. Like, keep him this mysterious, badass guy that he was in Volumes 1 to 3, and I'm okay with that, you know? I mean, he's going to have an interaction with Blake, right? But, like, keep it, like, Black trailer interactions with Blake. Don't just, you know, I mean, I know they obviously broke up around this time, but, like, try to keep some kind of, you know, tie back to him, you know, when he was actually, like, fun to be around. At least, well, not fun to be around because he didn't show up much, but make him, you know, back to what he was, being all this mysterious and shit, instead of just being like this crazed ex-boyfriend kind of deal. I didn't like what they did with him on that front, but other than that, I would like to see Ab in this game. And with that, I am done with the top 5 RWBY characters I would have wanted to see in BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. The next video will be Arcana Heart, and it has a lot more freedom to talk about Arcana Heart because there's only one damn character in the entire game from Arcana Heart. So, without further ado, I'll see you all next time. Peace, everyone, and remember just to stay safe and be alright. See you later, everyone.